Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, 2 women killed, child among injured in alleged dispute over Manchester car collision. Police in Manchester are on high alert following threats of reprisals for Sunday's deadly shooting, which claimed the lives of 2 women and injured 3 others, including a child. In the incident, which allegedly involved a licensed firearm holder, 5 people were shot during a dispute at a candlelight vigil stemming from a motor vehicle collision on Nashville Road off Levy Lane in Manchester. Police and relatives named the deceased as a 35-year-old Aldine Dixon, a resident of Colleyville District in northeast Manchester, and a 42-year-old Stacey Mulgrave, a resident of Barnstaple District near Mandeville. Police said the incident occurred near midnight after the 50-year-old licensed firearm holder parked his car in an open lot that is next to his house. Police said the lot separates the man's house from the house where the candlelight vigil was being hosted. The man reportedly saw his car being hit by another vehicle, leading to an argument and a confrontation. It is further alleged that the firearm holder opened fire. When the smoke cleared, 5 people were found shot. The gunshot victims were taken to hospital, where the 2 women succumbed and the 2 others admitted for treatment. A 12-year-old boy, who was reportedly also injured during the shooting, was treated and released from hospital. The licensed firearm holder reportedly turned himself in at the Mandeville police station. Up to press time on Sunday, he remained in custody pending further investigation. When the news visited the scene mid-afternoon on Sunday, there was a somber mood as relatives of the victims gathered around. Police are also maintaining a presence in the area to stem reported threats of reprisals. Member of Parliament for Manchester Central, Rhoda Crawford, on Sunday morning told the journalist that a member of her constituency executive is related to the people who were shot. It is very shocking, very unfortunate. Adika Miller, the councillor caretaker for the Knockpatrick division, was at the vigil last night. He is a close family member to the deceased. I woke up to messages telling me about the incident minutes after 4 a.m. Immediately, I reached out to the commanding officer for the parish to get an understanding of what transpired. I have since spoken to persons who were here to get an account, and then I decided to come visit the family, she said. The Jamaica Labour Party MP was careful to point out that crime statistics for Manchester were trending down. The police presence is comforting to members of the community. What has happened here is just very sad and unfortunate for more reasons than one. If you have been following the news, you would see that in terms of the reductions in major crimes, Manchester has been doing very well this year. We were off to a very good start. We are down to a 53% reduction in major crimes, and until this incident, we had only had 1 murder, and that was the result of a domestic dispute, she said. She is urging constituents to find amicable means to resolve disputes. The investigations are still at the early stage. What I know is that the police are still gathering information and eyewitness reports to be better able to give a fulsome report of what has transpired. I want to use the opportunity to appeal to residents, to constituents, to Jamaicans in general, that we must find better ways to resolve our conflicts. Many of the incidents that have resulted in murders and the shootings and the serious injury could have very well been avoided if we use better approaches to deal with our conflicts, she added. I have spoken to the family. They are very angry, they are very hurt because they were here preparing to put to rest a family member, and 4 of the 5 people shot are their family members, said Crawford. ICE deports a Jamaican fugitive wanted for shooting with intent. The United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency says it has arrested and deported a Jamaican fugitive wanted in his home country for shooting with intent. ICE said on Wednesday that it handed over 30-year-old Leroy Neville White to Jamaican authorities after he served a prison sentence in Connecticut. Leroy Neville White attempted to flee justice in his home country and take refuge in the United States. He then continued to break the law in Connecticut, said ICE Enforcement and the Removal Operations Boston Acting Field Office Director Patricia Hyde. White is a violent criminal and presented a significant threat to the residents of our neighborhoods. The director added, ICE will not tolerate such a threat. We will continue to arrest and remove egregious alien offenders from New England. ICE said Jamaican authorities issued a warrant for White's arrest on December 31, 2018 for the offense of shooting with intent. U.S. Border Patrol arrested him on July 11, 2022 after he illegally entered the U.S. near San Ysidro, California, and they served him the next day with a notice to appear before a Department of Justice immigration judge and released him on an order of recognizance. An immigration judge ordered White removed from the United States to Jamaica on April 12, 2023, ICE said. In December of that year, the New Haven Police Department in Connecticut arrested him for threatening in the first degree with hazard to terrorize. He was arrested and convicted in April 2024 and is sentenced to 5 years incarceration, suspended after 1 year, and 3 years of probation. However, ICE had placed the detainer on White, and when he completed that 1 year suspended sentence, he was detained by their agents at Hartford Correctional Center and deported. 1 dead, 5 wounded in Pembroke Avenue shooting. A man was shot dead and 5 others were wounded in a mass shooting at 14 Pembroke Avenue in Marvelly, St. Andrew early Sunday morning. A preliminary report by the police indicates that the incident occurred while the victims were leaving a wake around 1:05 a.m. The victims, all male, range in age from 18 to 55 years old. Questions about overseas witness in Shab Don murder case to be addressed. The St. James Circuit Court is expected to hear today whether a prosecution witness in the case of popular music producer Linval Shab Don Thompson and his co-accused Tajay Clark, who are charged with 3 counts of murder, will appear via video link. The prosecution made the application in relation to his witness during the case's last mention on February 9, when Thompson and Clark were scheduled to start their trial. On January 8, the case was put off for similar reasons after a revelation on that day that the prosecution was slated to make arrangements to secure their witnesses' testimony. The witness is said to be overseas, serving a prison term in Florida on a murder charge. Thompson is represented by King's Counsel Tom Tavares Finson and the fellow attorney Donahue Martin, while Clark's lawyer is Kadeen Coleman. Both the defendants were remanded until Monday morning, following the prosecution's most recent application regarding its witness last Wednesday. Thompson and Clark are charged in relation to the May 25, 2022 deaths of 24-year-old Shamaria Chippy Calvin, 27-year-old Chadwell Bomb Brain Fraser, and the 26-year-old Tonian Two-Fly Reed. They are also charged with wounding with intent and the shooting with intent in relation to that incident. According to reports, Calvin, Fraser, and Reed were among patrons at a birthday party being held along Marl Road in Rose Heights, St. James on May 25, 2022 when a motor vehicle pulled up. Men alighted from the vehicle and fired on the patrons before making their escape. Calvin, Fraser, and Reed were subsequently pronounced dead, and the 2 other persons were wounded in the incident. Thompson and Clark have been in custody despite past efforts by their lawyers to secure bail for them, including a bail application on April 5, 2024. On that occasion, Tavares Finson said Thompson was not in the area at the time of the incident and pointed to reports that the perpetrators were wearing masks, calling the issue of identification into question, while attorney Coleman cited Clark's need to do a medical procedure, which he could not do while in custody. However, High Court Justice Bertram Morrison, the presiding judge at that time, rejected the bail application after the prosecution argued that Thompson was pointed out in an identification parade and that one of the witnesses and some police personnel had received the threats. In light of the prosecution's issues regarding the overseas witness, questions remain unanswered regarding how the matter against the Thompson and the Clark will proceed once the case is mentioned today. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.